podcast on the environment for greener Earth. For the week of the ecology, we decided to do a podcast a little special. The first part of this show will be an interview with an environmental expert, and the second part will be a surprise. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome Alwena Ro. Welcome, Alwena.
Hello everyone, thanks for the invitation.
So, Alwena, you've been working for a few years on the reduction of carbon dioxide emission in French cities. What can you tell us about your work?
The emission of greenhouse gases in the air is the main causes of climate change. In the largest French cities, the regular use of the car is one of the main reasons.
You recently studied the case of Rennes. Can you tell us in what state is the city today?
I actually work in Rennes, and my research team and I noticed something. With its several universities, Rennes is a student city. It means that there are a lot of young drivers. To offset this, the city of Rennes has recently set up a metro that crosses the city and serves two of the three main campuses. In addition, there is also a second metro that should be set up in a few months, alongside the various bus lines. The use of the metro for cities such as Rennes is very important, since this metro runs on electricity and allows for thousands of students to get to their campus. This limits cars and buses that consume more and emit carbon dioxide.
Thank you, Alwena, for your expertise.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks again to Alwena for being here to answer our questions. Now, let's move on the second part of this podcast.
Hello, and thank you for having me here this week, Shan. I'm very happy to participate in this podcast again. So, I thought today's a special week, and I'll talk about a subject, about the environment, about a subject that I hold dear. And so today we are gonna discuss on the topic of nuclear safety, because I'm hearing a lot more and more complaints and people that just turn out wrong about this energy, and so today I'm here to debunk maybe the mysteries and try to change your mind on it. So I believe nuclear energy is the greenest, reliable power we have. What do I hear by that? Well, of course, it would be better if we could be just powered by renewable energies. Of course. If we could have a France only powered by sun panels and wind turbines and barrages, but the fact is they're just not advanced technologies enough. Sun panels aren't optimized enough to produce enough power for France. Wind turbines are not optimized enough, and barrages are just not numerous enough. And so the fact is we have the infrastructure to already kind of maintain a nuclear energy France, and I think we should even maybe expand it, because, okay, here's my point. The research shows that nuclear waste is not actually as big a problem as we thought, because people were doing a big fuss after Chernobyl and where do we store, because they had to put the whole thing in a massive sarcophagus, kilometers weight, because it was too irradiated. So actually that's only because of the accident, and containing this nuclear waste is much easier than we thought. Also, a very interesting study I read by Yale students. Actually, as overall, nuclear energy releases less radiation in the environment than petroleum and coal combined. Well, that's because, first of all, it's less present, but even so, they coal and all the other fossil energy sources, they use chemicals that are radioactive in their alloys and in their factories, and they don't really care about treating it before releasing it in the environment, where And nuclear is a very safe and very controlled energy source in comparison to that, and so I think that shows that it's not that dangerous. Also, the great thing is that better solutions are actually being researched and found. Lots of test reactors on nuclear fusion or other types of nuclear fission that are showing great signs of working and that are very efficient, maybe produce a lot less waste, maybe no waste at all. And I think that's great. I think that shows that a nuclear future is a greener future. And even if it's only temporary, I think that's a good investment because it will reduce carbon dioxide emissions, and I think that's great. Well, can't say that was very long, but thank you for having me today, Jeanne, and back to you.
Thank you, Emile. And now, our last guest, Camille.
Hi, it's Peter Skoll, and today I will be presenting to you the recent results of my studies in France about the energy crisis. To begin the podcast, I want to talk about the COVID crisis. So, we all faced the COVID pandemic and the several lockdowns that ensued. And me and my research team measured that during this lockdown, because the workers didn't take the cars as much as they used to do, the CO2 emission and the greenhouse emission in the atmosphere dropped by a lot. Considering this, we looked at the war in Ukraine from the same prism, and we need to understand that Russia is a huge exporter of gases, and with the restriction of the Occidental country against the Russia during the war in Ukraine, we will probably be faced with gas prices rising. This means that the prices of petrol will rise, and if the prices of petrol rise, most of the consumers will be led to take their car less often, or to share it, or to take buses. This means that both of the crises were and are today a way to change. They are a huge opportunity to change our habits.
Dear listener, this is already the end of this podcast. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you again to all the participants. Feel free to write us if you have any question or topics you would like to discuss, and join us next time for another episode of For Greener Earth.